Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing very well, and I hope you're feeling good too. And so am I. First, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for being kind enough to tune in to me again. I really appreciate it. Or if this is your first time tuning in to me, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. And I would like to welcome each and every one of you to this episode of TJ's Topics, a little show that I do on YouTube. I just let it go right through my channel, and I have a little fun doing it. And I really enjoy the feedback that I get from different people, and I like coming up with different topics every week, whatever's on my mind. And y'all know I got something on my mind pretty much every week. Or look, let me tell you this: I have something on my mind every day. How about that? Every day, I find myself thinking about something. And I have a Facebook friend too by the name of Kyle Butler. And he often says that thinking is good. And he's absolutely right, because it is. But the problem out here is, you have a lot of people out here who seem to not feel too comfortable with those of us who like to think. In fact, and I'll tell you this, in the black community, it's like people, they find thinkers as a bit of a threat. They see us as threatening individuals. Because, see, here's the thing. When a person thinks, when they do more thinking and less speaking, you don't know exactly what's on their mind. You don't know what they're contemplating. You don't know what they're plotting up. You don't know what they're planning to do, because they keep their mouth closed and they keep all of their thoughts to themselves. You'll only find out what it is they're thinking when they begin to take action. But on the other hand, you have people out here who do a lot of speaking and very little thinking. And I was taught from early childhood to think before you speak. But you have a lot of folk who always speak before they think. They run their mouth all the time, but they don't take time to think about what it is they're saying, or even think about what they're doing. Those people never come across as a threat to anyone, because when a person is running their mouth all the time, 9 times out of 10, they don't know anything. and they're a bit more trustworthy in society. Whereas those of us who are thinkers and don't speak a lot, oh, they see us as something to be frightened by. They're scared to death. But that's all right, though, because those of us who are thinkers, I feel like we're much better off than anybody. So, but again, I want to welcome you. And I tell you what, as I come on today, at the taping of this video, today is my birthday. And I have reached another year, 44. 44 trips around the sun. And I tell you, I am truly grateful for that. And as I often state on here about, the concept of numerology. Now, the numbers, 4, like the number 4, if you multiply that by 2, you get 8. Well, 4 plus 4 is 8. My age now is 44. If you add the two numbers together, you get the number 8. And 8 is new beginnings. So as I proceed through this upcoming year, I expect to see some new beginnings to take place, both in my life and in the lives of so many others, and see some different things transpire in this world other than the same old, same old. Because sometimes you get tired of that, and you want to create an atmosphere, or at least um, do something that's a little bit different, whereby you may be able to grow and progress and find yourself doing a little bit better in life. So I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, I do have a little topic that I'd like to share with you for a few moments. And I feel like it's appropriate for this time of the year because as we go through the rest of this month of November, of course, on Wednesday, November 15th, this month will be half gone. And next week is Thanksgiving. Can you believe that? We are already in the holiday season. And you can see it. I mean, people are running around here. I mean, putting up Christmas decoration and pretty soon they're gonna be playing all these Christmas carols. We'll be hearing them on the radio starting next Friday because they always start playing the Christmas carols the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. And it's going to be all about Christmas. People will quickly forget about the turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce and green beans and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be all about the ham and the Santa Claus and all that. Man, please. Christmas trees and the wreaths and presents and stuff. Man, but anyway, and that's what I want to talk about today. My subject is holiday hypocrisy. That's what I'm talking about. Holiday hypocrisy. Now, why would I want to say something about that? Well, it's very simple because it seems as if at this time of the year, people seem to put on the biggest front. I started noticing this years ago when I was working in downtown Memphis at a law firm. I noticed how all the attorneys and the secretaries and the head partners, everybody in the law firm, they would, throughout the year, it seemed like a lot of them they kept up a lot of hell and they stirred up trouble and kept up a lot of mess and they were just bickering and nagging all that. But time we entered this season, the holiday season, that's when everybody got so nice and sweet and they started loving on each other. They were just all so sweet, hugging each other, giving gifts and exchanging presents. And I've seen this on every job I've been on over the last 20 plus years of working. I have seen where people get so nice, family members and friends and neighbors and even folk in the church. And it's a lot of fakeness in church, but I'm not discussing that today. But it is. So I just want to get into it. Holiday hypocrisy. That's what we're talking about. And I do want to ask you a question. One question, but it will be divided into three parts. And I want to hear your thoughts as well, because I know some of you have probably experienced this also when it comes to the holiday season and the many interactions you've had with various individuals. Why do so many people dread the holiday season? And I, for one, definitely dread it because to be honest with you, I don't care for these holidays all that much like I used to. When I was a child, they were a lot of fun. But since I've been an adult, it's like, they're just not the same anymore. It's crazy. It really is. And so much goes on at this time of the year. A lot of bad news and everything. It's pitiful. Well, why is it that so many of us dread the holidays? One reason I can think of that causes so many people to hate when this time of the year rolls around is the fact that there is so much fakeness that is put on display. I'm talking about you see so many folk putting on front, acting like they love you and they care about you and all they want to run all up in your face and give you a kiss on your cheek and all that kind of stuff. They don't mean that. Usually when they're doing that, they're trying to get something out of you. For example, people whom we rarely, if ever, take the time to talk to all year, all of a sudden find it convenient to hit us up during the months of November and or December. And why is that? Perhaps it's because, as the saying goes, 'tis the season for giving, meaning that they are in search of a gift or two, perhaps, a gift or two from me and you. If that ain't hypocrisy, I don't know what is. And that's nothing short of hypocrisy. Because think about it. There are a number of people whom we rarely interact with throughout the year. You know, they may be family members, friends, or neighbors, co-workers. And we work with a lot of folk on the job every day, but we don't necessarily interact all the time with certain co-workers. It just depends on who they are, what department they work in. Now, if you work in the same department together, yeah, you may talk quite a bit. But if you work in one department and the person you work with is in a different department, then you probably don't interact a whole lot, you know. But how come all of a sudden when the month of November rolls around or it's getting close to December, here they come. Hey, girl, how you doing? I ain't see you in so long. Or, bruh, what's happening? Man, it's been a long time. You ought to hit me up sometime. But how come they don't think about hitting you up or kicking it with you in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and October? They wait until either November or December before they think about trying to get with you or you getting with them. Because this is the time of the year when people start seeking things. You know, they want something and they want it from you. That's what it is. And so, you know, a lot of times they'll spend time trying to, you know, think of ways that they can approach you, hoping that you will reciprocate. You know, if they give you a little time and attention, then hopefully you will be willing to give them a little time and attention. And then y'all get to talking, and next thing you know, you're spending money on them. But that's money that you could be using for something else. They're greedy. They're hungry for attention and affection, but they're going about it the wrong way. I just don't have time for stuff like that. If you can't be real and be friendly with me all throughout the year, why would you try to be friendly with me at the end of the year? You know, just being fake. Because that's all it is. It's fakeness. And who has time for that, considering how short life is? Reason number 2 as to why so many people dread the holiday season. Most people find the holidays to be a time of serious stress. Lots of people get stressed out over all the crap that goes on at this time of the year. Everything from potlucks to parties, and from family and friends to foes. Foes meaning enemies. The holiday season can wreak havoc on a person mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially, and financially. No one should be made to endure such trauma. But, the sad part is oftentimes people do find themselves enduring such trauma. And see, one reason why that's the case is because, and again, I have to go back to childhood because we've all been children once. And during childhood, we're taught that it's better to give than to receive. That's one of the principles that's laid out in the scriptures. It's more blessed to give than receive. And they also taught us that we're to treat others the way we want to be treated. It's good to share with others. We have to always give of ourselves. We always got to be doing something for somebody. But what about us? How come we can't be on the receiving end sometimes? We always got to be the one to give and pour out and distribute and offer this and that without expecting anything in return. In fact, I don't know why that is. They taught us that it's wrong for you to think about yourself because that's a form of selfishness. Well, I say if you don't think about yourself, then who's going to think about you? Because most of the time, the people whom you deal with out here in these streets, they ain't studying you. So you better think about yourself if you want to survive in this world. Because if you're just depending on the generosity of other folk, well, yeah, you may have somebody that'll hang you a little something, but I mean, people got their own lives and their own homes and their own families and their own problems and situations and circumstances. And they can't take the time to just give to you all the time. They got to have something for themselves. Well, the same principle ought to apply to each of us as individuals. If we continue pouring out to everybody else and nobody's giving back to us or we're not being replenished, our resources not being replenished or anything else, eventually we're going to find ourselves up the creek without a paddle. And nobody's going to feel good behind that. And lastly, reason number 3, why so many people dread the holiday season. The holiday season oftentimes comes across as a very sad time for lots of people. Many times, the holidays brings back a ton of unpleasant memories, taking us back to unpleasant times in unpleasant places, reminding us of unpleasant people whom we encountered, subjecting us to rather unpleasant situations. Additionally, it's usually around this time of the year, right now, when a number of individuals whom we know, be it relatives, friends, neighbors, community leaders, or celebrities, all start transitioning from this life. They start leaving here. And we see this all the time. And when that happens, they leave a void in our lives, a void that will never be filled. Because once those individuals are gone, they can never be replaced. I don't care who they are. It may be somebody close to us, or it may be somebody who wasn't necessarily close to us, like a celebrity or whatever, but if it was somebody whom we've all grown up with, watching on TV or listening to them on the radio or going to see their movies or or, whatever they did. Somehow, these people become a part of our lives. And we feel as if we do know them because we've been like in tune with them for so long. And of course, we've lost a lot of big stars this year. A lot of legends have crossed over this year. And then there have been a number of people whom we've been surrounded by closely in our lifetime that have transitioned this year. And so they can't be replaced. So, and this is the time of the year where we think about that. We reflect on those individuals. Like, for example, it was 15 years ago this month when my grandmother transitioned. And so last week marked the 15th anniversary since she passed, when we laid her to rest. 15 years. So I tell you, and next month will mark the 14th anniversary since we buried my uncle in Chicago. He passed in 2009. So I tell you, this time of the year brings back a lot of memories for a lot of people who have dealt with a lot of things. And this is the time of the year when people want to put on a front and act like they love you and they your friend and they care about you and they want to be with you and stuff. But them folk, all they want is a gift. And once you give them that gift or anything else, they'll go on about their business. They could care less about you or what you're going through. So who has time for any of that? So that's about all I have to say on holiday hypocrisy. And I hope that this subject matter has been one that you found to be intriguing, and hopefully you gained something from it, because I'm sure that many of you have dealt with folk who have been some of the biggest shams you've ever met. So you know what I'm talking about if you have. Thank you very much for watching me today, for tuning in to another episode of TJ's Topics. It's getting close to 1 year, everybody. I've been doing this show under this particular brand for soon to be 1 year. In January, that will mark the 1 year anniversary of TJ's Topics. And I am so grateful for it and this opportunity to come into your presence on any given occasion. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for those of you who wished me a happy birthday out there, I want to thank you for that too. So join me again next time when I will have something else to talk about. I don't know what it'll be, but I trust and believe that it'll be something of interest. So until then, this is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. And I certainly believe that as we approach the end of this year, heading into 2024, which should be the year of new beginnings, I believe that your round will go higher and higher. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.